Hi, everyone. It's Nick Matthews again. I hope everyone is okay. I hope that you're coping with this pandemic as best as you can and you're all staying strong and staying safe. To start with, guys, whoever's on there at the moment, can you just send me a little message and tell me where you're from? And also, can you hear me? Is everybody there? And it would be great before I start. I'm just going to give a couple of minutes for numbers to get up there. We've got about 50 or 60 people on at the moment, and I'd just like to wait until we get a few more. So in the next couple of minutes, tell me where you're from and make sure that you can hear me and we're all working okay. That would be fantastic. Thank you. 128 people so far. Wow. Guys, thank you so much for coming along. Just put me in a comment, type a comment in the box, and just let me know that you can hear me okay. Okay, we're up to 152. Joseph Sabek. Joseph, can you hear me? Just let me know that the comms are working. Been having real problems at the moment over here in North Yorkshire, in England, with electrical storms. I just want to make sure that the signal's getting out. Zane Baker, watching you from the US, Arizona. Joseph, brilliant. Guys, I'm going to start. Thank you, Viola, from Washington State. My goodness. I think it's fantastic when people from all over the world, different cultures, different peoples, all with different things, all come together to watch and learn and learn. You know, my background, I was in the Air Force for 23 years. And when I left the Air Force, I worked with professional sports people. And in fact, I still do work for professional sports people. And my thing in life is around neurology, why people do what they do, and also how can they do things better. So we've got all sorts of people. Joseph, Viola, Wilma from Scotland, Iris, hello Iris, Sherry, hi. Zane, you are part of the global family. Okay, we've got lots and lots of people on. So at the moment, I'm just about to get ready to start. And today we're going to talk about communication. We're going to talk about something that you might have heard of, you might not. What I found difficult, though, and I think this might be a new book for me, is I teach soft skills. And soft skills are about listening and about getting what you want from both a relationship, a conversation, from life. So I'm going to be talking about communication from that perspective today. Now, what I am going to talk about is it's a bit of a secret sauce. It's a bit of a silver bullet. And what I'm going to teach you today is something that you need to be careful about using, because in the wrong hands, it could be very, very manipulative. So please, I want you to promise me that you're going to use these with trust and integrity to, one, by all means get what you want, but do it with integrity and trust. So make sure that no one gets hurt by using the language skills that I'm going to touch on today. Okay, Tony from India, hi. Sherry, okay. James, Lynn, Sally, fantastic. Okay, so we're well up to nearly 200, so I'm going to kick off. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I talked about how people's reality might not be real because we view things through our senses, through our five senses. And I'm going to talk about what these five senses are, which in fact are, another name for them are your representational systems. This is how you work. Now, what I said before is that as a result of your values, your beliefs, your bringing up, what happens is, I'm just going to adjust this camera a little bit because I'm out of sync. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about as soon as I can move this thing that is is bothering me on the screen. There we go. Hide. It's getting in my way, guys. And I like to be able to see and talk who's talking to me. Okay, so your value and belief system since birth has set up a number of psychological filters. Now, this was determined and researched by a scientist, a very eminent scientist in the 50s called Chomsky. And what he said is that we make up our reality of life. And we therefore, and we delate, we generalize, and we distort things coming in through our five senses. So our five senses are our eyes, our ears, our touch, our smell, and our taste, so which we call olfactory. So, okay, that's all the information coming in. Now, what happens is that we can't process these millions of bits of information coming in through our senses. So based on our filter system, we delate, distort, and generalize this down to 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information. So we are losing all that information coming in based on what our reality of life is. And the next step from that, I'm going to move on to how we communicate, excuse me, as a result of our senses. Now, our senses determine what we call a representational system. And people have a predicate, have a preferred method of communicating. And these methods of communicating are either through sound, through visualization. The sound bit we call auditory. So we've got visual, we've got auditory, we've got kinesthetic, which is touch. We've got olfactory, which is taste, and we also have olfactory, smell, and gustatory, which is taste. And we all prefer one of these particular systems. Now, just because we prefer one doesn't mean to say that we block out the other ways of taking on information. However, people do have a preferred method of taking in information. Now, this is so important, because what we can do is, by understanding how another person takes in information, we can better pass our information on to them. And with integrity, we can actually manipulate that particular individual based on their predicate. Let me give you an example. For instance, I'm not sure if you've gone to get a new car or recently. Now, salesmen use this perhaps without even knowing it. But a typical salesman, you're going to look at a new car, and they will have picked up on your preferred system. For instance, you might have said something, I'd like to have a look at something. I'd like to hear what you've got to tell me. I'd like to understand the numbers around this particular sale. Now, the salesman will use that. He'll take you to the car. And let's say that, for instance, you're a visual person. He will say something to you. Do you like the look of that? Or if you're a kinesthetic person, touch that leather. How does that feel to you? Or if you're someone who is perhaps olfactory, smell that newness of that particular car. Now, why this is good is that because in any walk of life, whether it's within your relationship, whether it's with your boss at work or some of your colleagues at work, or it's someone you're trying to negotiate and you deal with, if you can understand what their preference is from those 5 systems, you can replay that back to them in a different way. So if someone likes the sound of something, you know, and you can test that this person has a preference for a auditory type conversation. So you play back their particular words. Let's say you're talking to your boss who's an auditory type person. Hey, boss, do you like the sound of that? Does that ring a bell with you? And so you can see that by using this particular language, what you can do is get into what I call, and what Chomsky called, a rapport. Once you get into a rapport with someone, they begin to trust you. You're talking their language. And by talking their language, they become more comfortable to you. They become more comfortable and more open to what you have to tell them. Now, what we also know from Chomsky is that, you know, the words that we speak are only 7% of the communication that we're passing on. 38% is in your tonality. It's how you speak. You know, this is why animals, particularly I've got 2 dogs, you know, they can't understand the words, but they can understand that tonality of whether I'm cross with them or whether I'm happy with them. But more than that, the remaining 50% plus is in your body language. How are you looking? What's your facial expression like? Are you leaning forward? Are you sitting back? Are you crossing your arms and therefore creating a barrier with that person that you wish to communicate with? So you can understand that by using a person's preferences, you can start to better communicate with that person. You can get into a rapport. And moreover, getting into a rapport is also what you can also start utilizing, what I call mirroring. Now, a mirror obviously shows a reflection. If you reflect to someone, the body language that they're showing you, again, you can earn greater trust and you can gain greater progress with what it is that you want to say. Okay, I've said a lot for the last 5 or 10 minutes. I just want to go back and check some of these questions that we've got. Opal Boardman, very true, thank you. Okay, Zane, how I get the tonality aspect. Zane, I know you very well. Tonality is everything. Tonality without sarcasm is everything. But you give so much information away, guys. It's about time that we start to learn how to, and I call it manipulation with integrity, because it is with integrity. It is with trust. We do not want to hurt someone. We do not want to harm someone. However, within a particular relationship, whether that's at home, with family, with perhaps a partner or your boss or colleagues at work, you want to get what you want to get. But you've got to use these and develop these soft skills to understand how you communicate, how you are passing your message on, and even more important, how could you tell that your message is getting across to the person that you are wanting to pass information from? And there are ways, and over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to give you some more of the secret sauce on how you can put lines into your mouth that come out, which will tell you where the person you're communicating with is and how they are responding to what you're saying. In my clinic in London, I see a lot of people. Amazingly, it's probably 70% females, and their issues are either at work or with relationships. At work because they feel as though they're being blocked, or in relationships because they feel as though they're talking and the message is not getting through. Well, that's about understanding the representational predicates, preferences of the person that you're communicating with. For instance, and this was only last week, I was doing a video coaching call with a lady who has just moved up a ladder to a directorship, but she's having trouble with her CEO, Chief Executive Officer. Now, the lady felt that she was doing her best, and she worked for 36 hours non-stop to get a very, very detailed report together to pass to her chief exec and the board that she was sitting at. However, the board just did not respond whatsoever to what she was saying, and she was devastated by this. Now, I worked with her to try and one, build her confidence and ego, and then perhaps explain how that came to be. And this is the same for everyone out there at this moment. It doesn't have to be a board or a chief exec. It could be a partner. It could be your son. It could be a daughter. It could be someone else. What I asked the lady to do is the very next step, and she did. And she tested this out. Now, what I said to her, I said, okay, the majority of the board normally go with the chief exec. Okay, what does the chief exec prefer? And she said, I don't know what you mean. So one, we talked about preferences and representational predicates. But more than that, I asked her to do a little bit of testing. Does your chief exec want detail, or does he want to chunk up, and does he want to see the big picture? And she came back to me about 4 o'clock in the afternoon the day before, and he said, I did a few tests using the questions you asked, Nick, and he wants the big picture. So I said, how do you think he felt when you were going into minutiae details that made the meeting last for about an hour and a half longer than it needed to be? And she said, I understand. And so she developed a skill, and what she's doing now is going through the rest of the board, and she's working out, do they want the big picture? Do they want detail? What sort of preference for representational systems do they have? And also, what she found out when she was delivering this very detailed information, some people switched off, they leaned back, they crossed their arms, they were doing other things, their facial expression wasn't good. Now, even in 1 week, this person has now turned the whole situation around. She is the go-to person for everyone. She is everyone's friend, and she is actually counseling them on soft skills. I mean, that is fantastic. In less than a week of using these particular skills and understanding how other people communicate, she had manipulated with integrity the rest of that board to get what she wanted, which was to confirm her position and to start feeling happier at home and at work. Hey, QED, what can we ask for apart from that? Okay, I'm just going to go back and let's talk from other people. DD Mandrell, hi. Gisela from Betty's Bay. Joseph, nice talk. Mary from the Philippines. Jackie. Oh my goodness, Jackie. The man who made my dreams come true. Kelly is in there from Las Vegas. We've got, gosh, Jay, I can't even pronounce your name, from India, but hey, well done. Zane Baker, 7% is only what, yeah, that is amazing. 7% is the words that you say. So you could use 93% less words and still get what you want. You've got to understand the other people. Opal, thank you. Mummy and Sono, thank you very much. Cynthia, what is the best book that you recommend? Actually, see, that's a good question, Cynthia, because as a special surprise to you guys, I'm just going to find out where I put it. I know I've put it down somewhere. Cynthia, my book, my best-selling book. It's available in paperback. However, to you guys, tomorrow, it's 100% free as a Kindle version. It kicks off at midnight Pacific time, and it goes all the way through on the 30th of June. So Cynthia, get the book. It touches on that. It touches on all sorts of other things as well. And it's free, totally free. Obviously, I prefer if you got the paperback so you can flick through and use your markers and your pens. But Cynthia, if you want to look at something, kick off on that. And I'm producing a course at the moment in time, which goes into teaching this in detail. This is a magic source. This is a silver bullet to changing your life, your destiny, to get what you want. Zane, amazing stuff. Thank you so much, sir. We got from South Africa and from Opal Boardman, one of my favorite people. Okay, guys, look, I don't want to keep you too long. We've been on for 20 minutes. What I would like to say it is, and I'm just about to type it in the I've just typed it in the comments thing. Okay. And basically, guys, the book is free. I've just put up the link. I've got my my breakthrough course, and if you think and you've loved this communication piece, you love the rest of the breakthrough course. It is, this is off the planet. I also, with a couple of guys called Zane Baker and Jeff Hand, based out of Arizona, we run an Igniters course. The next one's kicking off on the 11th of July. And if you want to just put Igniters in the comments, and either myself or Zane will get back to you. That's a brilliant course of like-minded people who get together every Saturday at 11 a.m. EST, and that's about 4 o'clock UK time. So, guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this short lesson on communication, how you can develop your soft skills. And I tell you what, if you think this is good, next week is going to be dynamite. Okay, I love you. Thank you so much for coming along. Mahela, hi. Opal, Zane. Yes, 11th of July is the 4th cohort of the Igniter course. And my fellow coach there, Zane, is so excited for the new class. And you see, the Igniters is about 3 particular things. One, the science, and as a research neurologist, I cover the science. And then we have the spiritual, which Zane looks after, and then we've got the body, the love piece, which is what Jeff does. Love it for you to join us, guys. Kelly, Kelly loves our Igniter family. Cynthia, is there a discount for the? It's dirt cheap, Cynthia. Honestly, I have really reduced the cost there. But if you can't, don't forget, my Kindle version of my book is 100% free for 24 hours only on the 30th of June. Okay, I'm going. Come back next week and you will get some dynamite. I tell you what, people think I'm an alien because I'm passing on this information, which will blow your minds. Anyway, guys, I love you. Take care, stay strong, and stay safe, and stay off the streets. Okay? I love you. Bye-bye.